On Wednesday, the Supreme Court commenced its review of petitions challenging the revocation of Article 370, which granted exceptional status to the former domain of Jammu and Kashmir. In addition to Mondays and Fridays, daily hearings will be conducted by the Constitution bench comprising of Chief Justice of India D.Y. Chandrachud and Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul, Sanjiv Khanna, B.R. Gavai and Surya Kant. Hello everyone, my name is Zaina Afzal-Kutti and welcome to HW News English. Article 370 granted special status to Jammu and Kashmir. It allowed the state to have a separate constitution, a state flag, and internal administrative autonomy. Found in Part 21 of the Indian Constitution titled Temporary, Transitional and Special Provisions, Article 370 empowered the Constituent Assembly of Jammu and Kashmir to recommend the extent of the Indian Constitution's application to the state. Following the convening of the State Constituent Assembly, it recommended specific provisions of the Indian Constitution to apply to the state through the 1954 Presidential Order. Since the State Constituent Assembly dissolved without recommending the abrogation of Article 370, it became a permanent feature of the Indian Constitution. Abrogation refers to the official termination of a rule or agreement. It ensures that the entire Indian Constitution would apply to the state. And that's precisely what the government did in Kashmir with Article 370. On August 5, 2019, then Indian President Ramnath Kovind exercised the power vested in Article 370 to issue an order superseding the existing 1954 Presidential Order and revoking all special privileges granted to the state. Simultaneously, the Home Minister introduced a reorganization bill in the Indian Parliament to bifurcate the state into two separate union territories, each with its own legislative body and lieutenant governor. Along with the reorganization bill, the resolution to abrogate the state's temporary special status under Article 370 was considered and approved by the Rajya Sabha. Subsequently, on August 6th, the reorganization bill and resolution upholding the revocation was also discussed and approved by the Lok Sabha. The decision to revoke Article 370 was vehemently advocated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi-led Bharatiya Janata Party as stated in their 2019 election manifesto. They argued that the article needed to be scrapped to integrate Kashmir and align with the rest of India. After securing a decisive mandate in the April-May general elections, the government wasted no time in fulfillment of its commitment. The abrogation of Article 370 means that people from the rest of India can now purchase property in Jammu and Kashmir and settle there permanently. Kashmir will no longer be governed by a separate constitution and will be required to adhere to the Indian Constitution like any other state. The abrogation of Article 370 means that people from the rest of India can now purchase property in Jammu and Kashmir and settle there permanently. Kashmir will no longer be governed by a separate constitution and will be required to adhere to the Indian Constitution like any other state. All Indian laws will be applicable to Kashmiris and outsiders will be allowed to purchase property there. The aftermath of the government's decision saw a significant lack of activity in Kashmir, with internet and mobile services suspended, a curfew imposed, and many people being arrested and confined to their homes. On August 2nd, senior advocate Kapil Sibal, represented Mohammad Akbar Singhal in the Supreme Court, contested the Indian Parliament's claim as a constituent assembly. Sibal emphasized the historical content of the state's accession and focused on Article 370's Clause 3, which states that the state's Constituent Assembly should recommend any changes to its relationship with India. He pointed out that in 2019 amendment to Article 367, Section 4, Subsection D, Constituent Assembly of the state was replaced with Legislative Assembly of the state. Sibal argued that the President's order in 2018 regarding the interpretation of Article 370 was imposed and did not reflect the will of the people. He highlighted the state's constitution, which limited Parliament's legislative power and contended that only the Constituent Assembly could determine the state's relationship with India and propose annulment or amendment of Article 370. Sibal expressed concerns about dismissing the unique circumstances of Jammu and Kashmir and emphasized that Indian Parliament cannot act as a Constituent Assembly. He also raised concerns about the impact of the state's transformation into a union territory on representative democracy. Sibal is set to continue presenting his arguments on August 3rd. That's all for now. For more such news updates, follow HW News English. Thank you.